2016, when our Prime Minister visited, we did lots of projects together. After that, one visible project that Kenya appreciates a lot is renovation of Rivatex. Rivatex is a textile mill, cotton textile mill, largest in East Africa, and that was renovated with India's assistance, concessional loan of $30 million. Apart from that, we recently did, last year, we did one library, Mahatma Gandhi Library in University of Nairobi. In addition, I mean, if you see, our connections are through the ocean. So we are connected by Indian Ocean, Mumbai to Mombasa or Porbandar to Mombasa. This dhow and ship's journey in the historic trade route is nothing that no one knows about it. So that connection was strengthened by the visit of our Honorable Prime Minister. And recently, I just would like to add here before ending, the recent visit of President of Kenya to India in December 2023, very recently, that has taken it forward. The overall relationship is excellent, people-to-people connect, cultural connect, economic connect, and I mean, you just name it and we have with Kenya.
Dr. Desai, would you like to speak on that?
Honorable Modi Ji's
hold your mic closer.
Honorable Modi Ji's contributions to this relationship are absolutely transformative. I, of course, met him when he was first Gujarat's minister at that time, and he played a significant role by way of ensuring that not only did he meet with Asians in East Africa, but very much understood the potential that existed based on, you know, the historical tradition of which possibly had started in the 1600s by way of trade and commerce, but then subsequently was part and parcel of all social affairs within East Africa, its development as far as politics, social contributions, and so on. And so that formative visit, I think that laid the foundation within the context of the past, but most importantly, when he was Prime Minister, the vision within the context of broadening that relationship now still exists, and I think that we've benefited greatly, not only by the specific sectors that are now being championed by way of agriculture, promoting greater levels of food security, finding ways in which we're able to promote gainful employment of our youth through skills transfer and capability, but his recent contribution to Africa by way of his invitation to the G20, which by all standards is highly inclusive and highly transformative for all Africans.
Dr. Desai, how is the Gujarati diaspora experience in Kenya different from the Gujarati diaspora experience of, say, Uganda, Tanzania, or for example, South Africa, because South African example is, which every Indian knew or knows, because Mahatma Gandhi was there. He formed his tools of Satyagraha in South Africa. So there's an Africa-India connect, you know. But how has been the Gujarati diaspora experience in Kenya different from the rest of the African experience?
I think that, you know, that having been involved since 1600 and the migration that were part and parcel of the diversity that has now enriched Africa for what it is, I think there have been various phases. When in 1600 this was all about trade relationships, and then pre-colonial engagements which existed by way of Gujaratis playing a role in building infrastructure like the railways, as well as being part of an administration, setting up general commerce within Kenya and East Africa, has led to significance by way of not only trade routes and trade systems throughout Africa, but also the development of commerce and the transfer of commerce to the indigenous people. But what was also of significance was that Gujaratis played a major role in the movement of freedom, of independence. My grandfather, J.M. Desai, was an eminent freedom fighter, and Jomo Kenyatta once said that without J.M. Desai, Kenya would have not got independence as quickly and effectively as possible. He played an extraordinary role by way of ensuring that, first and foremost, he gave the courage to indigenous Africans and politicians to believe that self-rule was possible. Of course, he was inspired by Mahatma Gandhi and the Indian Revolution of Independence. But what was really astonishing is he turned his house into the launch pad for democracy.
That's a very interesting point, you know. A lot of people think of the African experience as a business experience, but to localize it in context of freedom struggle and sovereignty is, I think, astounding.
Look, you see, commerce can only be built on social development. And so Gujaratis have done really well by way of capturing and also being part of the system. What was also astonishing by his contributions was the fact that, you know, he turned his house into the launch pad for the freedom movement. And his house, to this day, becomes a central point for the political ideology of democracy. He was able to, at that time, and this was, of course, under Honorable Jawaharlal Nehru, come into close contact with a very illustrious High Commissioner, which was appointed to Kenya, Apasai Pant, who played a significant role by way of his ability to ensure that there would be a link to the plight of Africans, this horrific plight of what they faced as far as independence was concerned, and that communication back to senior leaders of and members of parliament in the UK, which included, you know, Fenner Brockway as well as Sir Dinglefoot and so on. And so the long and short of this incredible history, which we now it's very much what we cherish, is that the social aspects as far as freedom were very much embedded in our relationship. And then came, of course, the commerce and all the development, etc., and so on. But this has been truly miraculous. I can tell you another story where, on the death of Mahatma Gandhi, all the Asians in East Africa came together to build the University of Nairobi, which has, you know, a population of around 40,000 students every year. Until then, and at the time of independence, the 3 or 4 things that everyone really wished for were, you know, prosperity, agricultural transformation, industrial transformation, and education.
That's very nicely put.
Sharmaji, I just want to interrupt for a second here.
Rohit, you wanted to say something?
When you mentioned it's kind of almost tribute-like, because we're just filming a web series which is titled Gandhi, and the roots and the cradle of Satyagraha, when it goes back all the way to Africa. And we shoot all of those portions, and we kind of collect those memories. I've had the fortune of, the great fortune of going to and visiting Kenya thrice. And it just happens to harbor such a wonderful spot in the heart that you want to keep going back and back. And jyare bhi kadach tame Kenya ma jao, to sauthi pehla ye loko, whenever you think of Kenya, the first thing, either in whatever nomenclature, be it social media, be it wherever, when it comes to tourism, the one thing you see is the Masai Mara. In fact, the title of our session is Gear to Masai Mara, Gujarat-Kenya Friendship Roars. The one thing that they tell you is the big 5. Pehla 5 je main animals tamne dekhade, tyani safari ma, એ સર્વપ્રિય હોય છે કે સૌથી પહેલા એ જોવા મળે. That is the first thing that they, when you take a tour or when you take a game drive, then these are the big 5 things. So on that moniker of the big 5, Wadhwana Sahib, you've obviously served in different countries, and now your travels take you and your work takes you to Kenya. So what are the big 5 things of Gujarat, and especially Gujaratis over there, that you see? કે હજુ બી ઘણીવાર આપણે જોતા હોઈએ છીએ કે ભારતમાં જે પ્રવાસી ગુજરાતીઓ બહાર જાય છે ભારતમાંથી, એ આપણા કરતાં વધારે ગુજરાતી રહ્યા છે ત્યાં જઈને. Most of the Gujaratis that have encountered or seen outside of Gujarat are more Gujaratis than our own Gujaratis. એ પછી ધર્મક્ષેત્રે હોય, કલ્ચરના ક્ષેત્રે હોય, ટ્રેડિશન્સના ક્ષેત્રે હોય, વેલ્યુઝના ક્ષેત્રે હોય, ફેમિલી લિવિંગના ક્ષેત્રે હોય, કે પછી youth development and involvement of the youth in bringing an awareness about the Gujarati roots, tradition and culture ના ક્ષેત્રે હોય. એમાં આપણા ગુજરાતીઓ મેં ત્યાં જોયા છે એ વધારે ઇન્વોલ્વ રહે છે. બટ વોટ આર ધ બિગ 5 ગુજરાતી પોઈન્ટ્સ that you see in the Gujarati community in Kenya?
I like the way you connected this big 5 of Kenya to big 5 of Gujaratis in Kenya. I used to say whenever I get a chance in Kenya in my official or social engagements, I keep telling them that the triple C of Indian community there, especially of course Gujaratis, is very prominently visible. This triple C is culture, commerce and charity. Now I will add the fourth one, that is connection, 4C. So this culture, as you said, when we go abroad, Indians when they go abroad, they conserve the culture. And they conserve the culture of the time they have moved. So if you see in Mauritius, they still follow the culture when they have gone out of India. Similarly, Gujaratis who are in Kenya, they are still preserving, conserving the culture of the time they have gone there, and they are still celebrating each and every festivals of Gujarat and India, and perhaps much more vehemently than what we do here. Second C is commerce. They are the leading business community. Overall population of Indians, or rather Asians, as per the 2019 survey of Kenya, is only 47,000. So let's say around 60,000, that is our estimate, is people of Indian origin. So this 60,000 is just 0.13% of Kenya's total population. But if you count their economic contribution, it would easily reach in double-digit percentage of their GDP, which shows the disproportionate net creation, disproportionate growth generation by our people. So that is second. Third is charity. And I have been emphasizing on that we need to record this. They do lots of charity. They feed thousands and thousands of children. They construct useful infrastructure for people. They give lots of medicinal facility and creation of house and every other things. So this is third thing they are doing. The fourth C that I would add here is connection. They have maintained regular connection. We have direct flights, 27 flights a week with Kenya is really good benefit to us. So they have maintained connection, unlike, I don't need to, but I have to say South Africa, let's say people, right? We don't have that strong connection since the time they have gone to. But this Kenya has maintained the connection. So this 4C, and I think I would like to end here 4 big. Fifth is not coming to my mind, but when you visit there, perhaps you will see that these people are great contributor, net job creator, net wealth creator there. You would like to maybe add something, fifth point.
No, I think that, you've mentioned all of them, but what is resounding is the community spirit. And I think that it's all the hope and inspiration. Today's event is about community. And it's at a time when we're, as continents, challenged. Of course, India 1.4 billion, Africa 1.2 billion. What comes out as very important is how do we find solutions for challenges with respect to climate change, which we both face. The fact that we need to promote transformative food security solutions, and how we're able to transition our youth into effective gainful employment and capabilities. And I think that there's a growing concern, rightfully, because the solution lies in the cooperation between the African continent and the Indian continent, and our ability to really transition the decision-making and the ability to promote aspects of skills development, research, extension possibilities, transformative value chains in agriculture, are critical, and I think that this is the basis of the inspiration that we feel today.
Before we kind of bring this to an end, I want to ask the both of you, when was the last time that you visited the Gir forest?
Gir.
The Gir forest, yes.
Gir, we were lucky to come here in July 2022 before we moved to Kenya, and that gave us an opportunity to visit around Gujarat, certainly.
So 22 is rather recent, yes?
Right.
Yeah, well, I was in Masai Mara last year, but I don't need to go to Gir. I sit next to a lion.
Dr. Desai, I think you definitely need to go to the Gir, because મસાઈ મારાના સિંહ આપણે જોયા જ છે, પણ ધ ગીર દેટ હેઝ ડેવલપ્ડ નાવ, અત્યારે એમાંની જે ફેસિલિટીઝ છે, એમાં જે પર્યટન થઈ રહ્યું છે, અને ખાસ કરીને એમાં ધ કોન્ઝર્વેશન એફર્ટ્સ એન્ડ પ્રમોશન of well-being of the wildlife that is there, especially the Asiatic lion. Dr. Desai, I think you would definitely change your mind once you
No,
get there.
I'll definitely go there, but what I'm saying is I'm sitting next to a lion from Gir.
We are in the presence of two lions of the Masai Mara area.
I'm the one who's feeling like an outlier here because all of you have gone to Masai Mara. I'm the only one who just changed flights from Nairobi to go to Kigali, but couldn't get to stay put there.
So what we can do, Sharmaji, is when you go to the Masai Mara, Dr. Saib can take you around and show you Masai Mara, and Dr. Saib, when you have the time, he can show you around what the Gir has now come to be. Thank you, gentlemen. Thank you so very much. You've been
Thank you so much.
a great contribution. We would like for you to come and join us for a photograph. We would like to thank Shri Rohit Wadhwana and Shri Dr. Kevith Desai for their contributions.
ધન્યવાદ. થેન્ક યુ. અને હવે આ બંને વક્તાઓનું સન્માન કરવા માટે TV9 ગુજરાતીના ચેનલ હેડ શ્રી કલ્પક કેકરે સરને વિનંતી કરીએ કે આપ મંચ પર આવી અને આ બંનેનું સન્માન કરશો. શ્રી કલ્પક કેકરે. પહેલા સન્માનિત કરીશું શ્રી રોહિત વઢવાણાજીને. શ્રી કેવિથ દેસાઈ એમનું સન્માન કરી રહ્યા છે શ્રી કલ્પકભાઈ. એમના પછી શ્રી રોહિત વઢવાણાજી. કેન્યામાં ડિપ્લોમેટ તરીકે કામ કરી અને ભારત કેન્યા, ભારત આફ્રિકા, એની જે સંવેદનાઓ છે, એની જે નીતિ છે, એ નીતિ બંને પક્ષોની સમૃદ્ધિ, બંને પક્ષોની માનવતા, બંને પક્ષો જે કરુણા સાથે જીવી રહ્યા છે, બંનેની પ્રાકૃતિક સામ્યતાઓ છે, એ બધાથી અવગત એવા આ બંને વક્તાઓનો TV9 અને આઈના આભાર માને છે. આ સાથે જ અહીંનો જે સેશન છે એ પણ સંપન્ન થાય છે. वी वुड लाइक टू से थैंक यू टू कार्तिकेय शर्मा जी एवं ओजस रावल जी, आपके प्रति भी बहुत आभार प्रकट करते हैं हम. આ સાથે જ અહીંનું આ સેશન પૂરું થાય છે અને હવે મારા તમારા જેવા જેટલા પણ બાકી રહ્યા છે લંચમાં, એ બધાને આપણે લંચ માટે સાદર નિમંત્રિત કરીએ છીએ. એટલે હું અને તમે જેઓએ લંચ લઈ લીધું છે તેઓ એમનું સ્થાન અહીંયા ગ્રહણ કરશે. થોડા સમય પછી આપણે અડધા એક કલાક પછી આગળના સેશનમાં જઈશું અને જેમને લંચ લીધું નથી એ તમામનું આ અદાણી પ્રેઝન્ટ્સ 2024-2024ના પ્રવાસી ભારતીય પર્વમાં આપ સૌને લંચ માટે સાદર નિમંત્રિત છે. ધન્યવાદ. બીજા સેશનમાં એટલે કે લંચ પછીના પહેલા સેશનમાં આપણે લોક સંગીતની ધારાઓ સાથે આગળ જઈશું. લંચ પછી જે કાર્યક્રમ છે એમાં પદ્મશ્રી પુરસ્કૃત એવા કલાકારો છે જેમણે લોક સંગીતને 5 દાયકા કરતાં વધારે સમયથી મારીને તમારી સાથે સાચવ્યા છે. શ્રી ભીખુદાનભાઈ ગઢવી અને શ્રી શાબુદ્દીનભાઈ રાઠોડ, આ બંને સાથે આપણે અહીંયા સંવાદ કરીશું. તો લંચ પછીના બીજા સેશનમાં મળીએ. ફરી એકવાર TV9 અને આઈના આપ સર્વેનો આભાર માને છે. થેન્ક યુ.
Let the games begin.
Do we have lifelines?
Why leave it to chance?
Bring it on. You will love.